What's up, tubers? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight to finish up Lake of the Pines. And actually not finish it up. We got one more video to go after this one, but we're talking about offshore hotspots. We're going to see what we can find. I know I got some good stuff for you. Stick around. Well, here we go, Lake of the Pines offshore. So hopefully you had a chance to visit the YouTube channel and check out the Lake of the Pines Google Earth videos. There were two of them out there. Those are excellent. Going to show you all the creek channels and stuff like that, as well as laydowns, all that good stuff. If you missed it, go out and check out the channel. Go underneath the Lake Breakdown playlist, and that will show you the Google Earth videos for Lake of the Pines and several other lakes that are out there as well. So make sure you go check it out. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on Lake of the Pines. Let's start down here at the dam, and we'll work our way up the east side, and then we'll come back down the west side. So as far as the dam goes, obviously you've got the riprap and stuff that we talked about on the Google Earth video, but there is a couple different piles down here you want to check out. This is a submerged point is what it says here. And then I believe out here, it says there's a submerged point out here as well, although I don't see any type of submerged point out there. But you might want to go check those out. It looks like the locals have put something out there for you to check out. So the first thing that I actually saw that I liked from a contour perspective was right here off of this point. You can tell that the point is really has a real sharp break over here off of this side. But then if you pull off over to the northern side, you got more of a tapering point that comes out. You'll notice someone put a marker there that says there's a rock pile there as well, which means that's going to be really, really good because you've got the nice tapering point. You've got the ledge on the back side of it if they're setting off the ledge. And then you've also got a rock pile right out there off the edge of it. So you definitely want to go check out that spot right there. All right, so let's go ahead and go up here. Let's get back in here by the Big Cypress Marina. When you come in here and you come off to your right-hand side, you'll notice there's a little underwater point that's right here in this area right here. And if I pull in, there's actually an island, sorry, not a point. But if you'll look there, I talked about that on the Google Earth Waypoints video as well, about there being rock off the edge of that. I could see that there was rock right here just on this side of the island. Again, from an offshore standpoint, the way the contour is set up, that looks like the best spot as well to be fishing off the back of that island. So I went ahead and marked that for you guys. There might actually be two marks there for you if you buy the Simplistic Fishing SD card, because I think I've got one for offshore and then one for Google Earth as well. So you know that's going to be a good spot. All right, so as we pull up in here, talk to you guys about gosh dang, I'm having a hard time talking, but the bass that we saw setting up right in this area, right here off of these, the smaller ones, but they were still spotted bass. Sorry, I have a hard time talking, but there were a lot of spotted bass right here off the edge of those marinas. So if you want to go catch some spots, that's definitely a good spot to go look at. I saw them there last time I was there. All right, so as we pull out here, again, another main lake point. Pretty tapering. It's got a little bit of a drop on this side. Definitely want to fish it. Just main lake point. Make sure you check it out. Check it out there. And then down here, someone also said submerged point, but the point's actually out here. But anyways, get in here and check out just right around that point. That's going to be a good one for you. All right, so then moving on up, we're going to go in here to this first cove that's back here. The only thing I saw from an offshore standpoint that really kind of stuck out to me, and it's not as obvious, I think, as it would be to everyone else, is just right here off the edge, where you've got a real nice little break right here. It goes basically from 6 foot to about 12 foot. So you've got some kind of break going on right there in that area. Might be a good spot to go check out. And don't forget that Texas Park and Wildlife has that brush pile that's right out here where this fish is at as well. All right, so we're going to keep moving up, and I think the next spot we're going to start getting up here to the next cove. But as we get up here on the main lake, not too much going on here, but if you look right here, there's a creek channel that's running right through here, and it's coming up and it's swinging really close to this bank line. So right in here, again, not as obvious of a point maybe as it would be to some people, but you definitely want to swing by and check it out and see if there's that creek channel or anything like that. They're relating to anything like that. That could be a timber line too. So not sure what the dotted line is, but definitely go check it out. All right, so I'm going to keep coming back in here, and sorry about the sniffles. I got I don't know if I got a head cold today or if it's just the freezing cold weather that we've had come in this weekend. So I'm going to keep moving back here as we get back in here to this back spot. A couple different things I want to show you guys here. One would be this little point here by Hurricane Creek. Real good drop coming right off the edge of this point. And then this point here looks good as well. Real good tapering point that comes off here, pretty close to a creek bed that's out there as well. So then moving up from Hurricane Creek, next thing we're just looking at another point right in here. This one's got a pretty sharp drop. There's also, if you look here, there's a lot of different brush piles that are out here. And I believe these are those Texas Park and Wildlife brush piles, but look at how many you've got. You've got 4 or 5 different ones that are out there, plus you have this. So if you got the Simplistic fishing card, I'll have those points out there for you. So when you put it all together, you'll have the brush piles. They'll be marked separately from offshore, and then you'll also have these offshore spots. All right, so then moving on down here, if you look out here, there's a little point that comes out, about 20 foot on the top. It's got a real sharp ledge off this side. So if you go out and take a look at that, I would definitely look right in there where I put that marker at and see if they're relating to that ledge or even up here feeding up just a little bit higher. Now, again, that's pretty deep, 18, 20 foot, but you've got a real good drop down to about 30 foot right there. Now, the edge of this point that we're getting ready to go to, it looks like the best point that we've actually talked about so far. And the reason why is because there's another brush pile that's right outside of it. So there's the brush pile that's right there. And then, of course, you've got the point. Obviously, the point sets up good, main lake point, close to a creek channel, all that good stuff. Definitely want to fish that point. That is a good point to fish. Let me back out here. That's the point right before you start going into Johnson Creek, I believe. So that's going to be right out in here. All right, so then we're going to keep moving. You notice we've got the creek channel, right, that's swinging down in here, so we're kind of following that. But again, this is going to be a really good spot right where I marked where the marker is there for 737. The creek channel coming close by. You got a creek channel swing. You got a little point there as well. Going to be a good spot to take a look at. And then moving on up, we get back in here into the creek. The first spot's going to be right in here. I believe there's a Texas Park and Wildlife brush pile here as well. It's either in this one or no, it's further up here. It's further up there by the bridge. But if you look right here, actually there is one. There's one right here, number 12. So you want to check that one out, but also check out the point. Just the point itself looks really good. And then the marker there says that it's a rocky point as well. And I'll tell you that my fishing that I did on Lake of the Pines, we had a lot of success up north, and then we also had a lot of success back here in Johnson Creek, and then the next creek that's up. And I can't remember the name of it, but we'll talk about here in a minute. So going to go on up, going to go on in. First, look at that point. Also, this next point's got rock off it as well. Again, another rocky point, getting into the main creek channel there. So you could still kind of call it main lake, I guess, or main creek channel. So really good, weight sets up really good, nice and close to it. Plus you have the rocks. So you definitely want to look at that. And then following that creek channel back, the next point that it touches is right here. So you want to fish that point as well. And then moving down here, I believe they've got another brush pile. Yeah, that's right out here. So it's a little bit further back from the bridge itself. And again, we'll have these marked, but definitely check that one out, that little brush pile there, and then come over here and look right here where I have this marker, because usually when you get here on these bridges, if you get the back sides of them, there's typically some debris or some kind of washout that's back around in here. And I believe where we found it was right there where that marker was. So definitely go check that out. Then moving back here, you just follow in the creek channel, come over in here. You've got a pretty decent little point here with the creek channel swinging by it. Saw a lot of people fishing here. I believe I caught a couple fish right off this point as well. So you definitely want to go check that one out. And then, of course, you got the big flat that's back here as well. But as you get back here, the only offshore spot I would say to check out would be right here where this bend is. So it's right after the main point. You almost want to set like right there in the middle. And you'll see here you've got a lot of different markers here, a wide hump, a couple different spots there. But that is a really good spot to set up at right there. It's almost where the creek channel makes a little bend right there in the middle. All right, so I'm going to move on back. We're going to come out of Johnson Creek, and we're going to move up here to the next side. And we are going to look at this next spot. So the next spot, you've got another little point here. I really like this underwater point right there. I should have marked that one. But I marked this over here because it says that there's bass holding on this ledge, and this is a really good ledge. So not just where my mark is, but this whole area right in here would be a good area to take a look at. Really good, nice little ledge that's there. And if you look again, you've got another one of those Texas Park and Wildlife brush piles that's just right outside that ledge. So again, real good spot to take a look at. All right, so then moving up here, of course, this isn't a very deep lake, right? We've only got about 20 to 30 foot. I think maybe down there by the dam it gets to 40, but it's not very deep at all. But you come out here, you got another good main lake point that's right here. So take a look at that. And you've also got a couple of other markers over here where they're talking about medium diving crankbaits and things like that. So basically just fish the point and you should be good to go. So then we're going to follow the creek channel up. And next thing that I found was right in here. It's Alley Creek is what I was thinking of earlier. You definitely want to come out here, and right when you go into the entrance of Alley Creek, there's a big underwater point that comes out here. Or you could call it an underwater hump too, because I guess it kind of goes away right there. But really good spot right in here off the edge. And then if you look right here, you've got a couple different Texas Park and Wildlife brush piles here too. One right there in the saddle. And then you've also got a nice little point that's right over here as well. So that spot just right in there, just following this whole area right in here is going to be a really good area to look at. So then we're going to move on up. We're going to go into Alley Creek. Next thing that we see is this point that's right here. This point comes out really good, 9 foot on the top, swings out. It's got a brush pile right off the edge of it, and it's really close to the creek channel again. So you want to look at these points. That point right there looks like an awesome point to fish. I can't remember if I fished that one or not, but if I ever were to go back to Lake of the Pines, I would definitely fish that point. I wouldn't miss it this time. So then as we move further back into Alley Creek, I think I only have one more mark to show you back in here, but it's right here where it makes this little bend. I'm trying to zoom out here, but you can see the creek channel kind of gets close, swings out a little bit instead of swinging into the point, but it's close to the point. And then you'll notice there's some generic info out there, but really just a really good point close to that creek channel. You know it's going to produce you some fish. So let's go ahead and swing out of Alley and let's start heading further north. As we get up in here, there wasn't too much, right? We start getting a little bit shallow water, kind of start losing our contours and stuff like that. But we get more into more of a river channel system. So when you get out there, you want to pull off from the bank more, and you want to focus more on these channels. So as you do that, pull out here. The first one is this really nice creek channel bend. Look how this one swings up really wide. And so right there, I went ahead and put a marker out there for you guys to take a look at. And ironically, there was already a mark out there from one of the locals. So you know it's going to be a good spot. Now, some of these spots are also going to be marked by the catfishermen too, because the catfishermen love to set up on those bends as well. So if you look right here, again, really interesting spot on the creek channel here. It comes up, it swings over. So you got this really deep hole right here, and then it swings around again and then has another deep hole. So I would say look right in this area. Maybe not just on that mark, but around those two bends. So right here, actually the three. Check right here, check over here, and then check over here. And in the wintertime, check and see if they're hanging out in those deep holes. You can even come up here and check and see if there's an underwater culvert there or if there's a bridge. Sometimes it says there's culverts there and there's nothing there. So you definitely want to check that. But then you definitely for sure stop and fish this point. Even if you're flying up there to the north side and you can't wait to get there, just stop for 10 minutes and fish this point when you're on the way up. I think it's going to be a good one for you. That creek channel is really close to it. It's pretty good. It's got a pretty good sharp drop off. I really like how it sets up. All right, so as we move further up here, if you're brave enough to come out here, you could come out here as well. If you look out here, there's a big flat that's up here, or a big, I guess you'd call it underwater hump, whatever you want to call it, or plateau almost. But if you look out here, you've got a really sharp drop right off the ledge over here, or you've got a ledge right here making a really sharp drop into some pretty deep water. Some of the deepest water in the area, and it's fairly close to the creek channel. So you may want to go out and check that out. I'm not saying it's going to be guaranteed to be good, but it looks like it has some pretty good potential for sure. And then again, just following the creek channel, and check the bends. This bend right here looks really good. Definitely want to look at that one. That's coming off of a nice little flat top that's right there, and the bend's coming up and swinging against it. So I'd say yes, definitely look in there. You want to look in here. If I zoom back out, you're going to see how sharp of a bend this is. Got to get it just right. So right here, this area right in here is going to be really good. So you want to look right in here, basically from there to about right there. It's going to be really good. And then also come over here and look where they make these big turns and see what you can find there. So let's go ahead and go on up north, and we'll wrap this thing up here in about 5 minutes or so. But let's talk about a couple more things. So just looking at the creek channels, right? just looking where they make some really good bends, some really good turns. This one, if you look, you've got a little flat that comes out, and then you got a little hump at about 10 foot. So you got a 10-foot hump and a really good turn that's happening right there. So right where I put that marker at. Also over here, I really like that turn. And then over here, you've got the same thing. Another really good turn, 6 foot over here, 12 foot over here. So real good pinch point right there in that area where I put that marker at. Then just following the creek channel up, got some more stuff coming up here. Another good creek channel bend right in here. So definitely want to look at that. It says a saddle, but I have no idea. I don't see the saddle, but maybe I'm just missing something. And then we come up here, we move up here, we keep following the creek channel again, another bend. Definitely want to look at that. And these bends, they have these high spots around. It's just super cool. So it's like 9 foot. So you're basically on this giant flat, right? This flat that goes basically from 10 to about 14 foot maximum. But you've got this creek channel that's running right through the middle of it. And the creek channel has some really good depth to it, 18 foot. So you've got all these really awesome spots. You could almost just go down and fish the creek channel and then just stop on every turn. And I think you'd have some success. You got another main lake point over here. I didn't mark it, but I should have marked it because it's really close to this little creek channel blowout, whatever this is. But you may want to check that out. Also over here, you've got a little underwater hump, 11 foot. And the creek channel kind of swings around both sides of it. So it's almost making like a little underwater island. So you definitely want to look at that. And then I believe I only have one more spot that's up here at the bridge to take a look at. And that's just right here. Before you swing in and get into the bridge, I believe this is kind of your boat lane where you see these piles at. It's right over here to the right side. You've got a really high spot, about 4 foot. And then on the back side of it, it drops down to about 16 foot. So looking right around in this area off this back side, be a really good spot to take a look at. So I think that pretty much wraps us up for offshore hotspots coming up the east side. Let's go ahead and wrap that up for today. And tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but the next time we do a video, we're going to come down the west side. We're going to start right here at marker 14. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change that icon so we know. We'll start right there at marker 14. We'll work our way back down the west side of the lake, all the way down, probably get to the dam, maybe able to finish this up in 2 videos well with the offshore hotspots. So again, guys, if you haven't gone out and checked out our website, please do so, simplisticfishing.com. You can get all these waypoints plus the Google Earth waypoints put on an SD card so that you can import them into your graph and really save you a ton of time out there on lake. It will change the way you fish. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.